Try it right now. Run your fingers along your own ribs, the exact spot that makes you scream when someone else does it. Nothing happens. Maybe a flicker of sensation, a dull awareness of pressure. No laughter, no squirm. You already knew this would happen, didn't you? You've tried it before, probably as a kid, convinced you'd finally crack the code. But here's where it gets strange. The reason you can't tickle yourself has almost nothing to do with your fingers or your ribs or even your skin. It's about a war happening inside your skull. Your brain wins that war every single time, often before you're even aware it started. For most of human history, nobody thought to study this. Tickling seemed too small, too silly, too far beneath the dignity of real science. Then, in 1872, a man already famous for one of the most disruptive ideas in history sat down to write about something far smaller. Charles Darwin published a book called The Expression of the Emotions in Man and Animals, and buried inside it was a strange little observation. He noticed that a stranger tickling a child produces far less laughter than a parent doing the exact same thing in the exact same spot. He noticed something even stranger too. Tickle a sleeping infant gently enough, and you get nothing but a startled cry, not a single giggle. Wake the child first, let it see your face, let it know a familiar hand is coming, and the same touch produces helpless laughter. Darwin guessed that tickling needed two ingredients working together, surprise and trust. Remove either one and the laughter collapses. That single observation sat mostly untouched for 25 years. Then, in 1897, two psychologists named G. Stanley Hall and Arthur Allen decided to actually test it. They ran what may be the first formal experiment on tickling in history, surveying hundreds of subjects about where on their bodies they were most ticklish, who was allowed to touch those places without triggering laughter, and who absolutely was not. The soles of the feet ranked among the most sensitive zones. So did the ribs, the neck, the armpits, places where, evolutionarily speaking, a predator's claws or a rival's blade might land first. Then came the second half of the experiment. Hall and Allen asked their subjects to try tickling those exact same spots on themselves. Across the board, self-tickling failed. Not weakly, not partially. It failed completely, every time, on every subject, regardless of how ticklish that same spot was when someone else touched it. Hall and Allen couldn't fully explain why. They just had the data, sitting there, refusing to make sense for almost another 100 years. The explanation finally arrived from neuroscience, not psychology. In the late 1990s, a researcher named Sarah Jane Blakemore, working at University College London, built an experiment using a robotic tickling arm fitted with a small piece of foam. Subjects could control the arm's movement themselves, moving a joystick that translated their hand motion onto their own palm with a slight adjustable delay, or have someone else control the exact same arm against the exact same patch of skin, while their brains sat inside an fMRI scanner. Same arm, same foam, same motion, same skin contact. The only thing that changed was who was in control, and how predictable that control felt. When subjects controlled the tickling themselves, their brains barely reacted, and they rated the sensation as far less intense and far less ticklish. When someone else controlled it, even using the identical machine, the response spiked dramatically, both in subjective ratings and in activity measured in the somatosensory cortex. Blakemore even found a strange middle ground. Add a small enough delay between a subject's own hand movement and the resulting touch, just a fraction of a second, and the brain started losing track of its own prediction. The sensation began to feel less self-generated and slightly more ticklish the longer that delay stretched. Your nervous system, it turns out, isn't actually responding to touch. It's responding to uncertainty, measured almost down to the millisecond. Here's the mechanism. Deep in the back of your skull sits a structure called the cerebellum, a dense, wrinkled cluster of neurons that does far more than balance and coordination, which is what most people assume it's for. The cerebellum builds a constant, running prediction of what your own movements are about to feel like, just before you make them. It does this for almost everything you do without thinking. Reach towards your ribs, and your cerebellum has already modeled the exact sensation that's coming, down to the timing, the pressure, the location, often before your fingers have even started moving. When the real sensation arrives and matches the prediction, your brain essentially shrugs. Predicted, accounted for, filed away, ignored. Why would your brain waste resources reacting to something it already knew was coming? This same forward modeling trick is the reason your own voice never sounds startling to your own ears, even though it's one of the loudest sounds your body produces all day. It is the reason you can clap your hands 1,000 times without flinching, while a single unexpected clap from across the room makes you jump. Someone else's hand breaks the model completely. Their timing is slightly off from anything you could predict. Their pressure shifts unpredictably, speeding up, slowing down, landing slightly to the left of where you braced for it. Your cerebellum has nothing to compare it against, so the sensation arrives raw, unfiltered, and demanding attention. That flood of unpredictability is what your brain interprets as tickling. Remove the unpredictability, and you remove the tickle. This is why ticklish laughter has almost nothing to do with humor, and almost everything to do with threat detection running through a lens of safety. A researcher named Robert Provine, who spent decades studying laughter itself, found something that backs this up perfectly. Laughter, in nearly all its forms, is overwhelmingly social. People laugh far more often around others than alone, even when nothing especially funny is happening. Tickling laughter may be one of the oldest, most primitive versions of that pattern, a body responding to an unpredictable touch from another creature, deciding in real time whether that creature is a threat or a friend. Think about what this means for a moment. Your skin isn't ticklish, your brain is. And specifically, the part of your brain that can't tickle you is the same part constantly working to protect you from sensory overload. Consider what your body experiences in any given second. Your heartbeat presses against your ribs, your clothing brushes your skin with every breath, your tongue rests against your own teeth. If your nervous system reacted to all of that the way it reacts to an unexpected tickle, you wouldn't be able to function for more than a few seconds at a time. The same cancellation system that stops you from tickling yourself is the reason you can sit through an entire day without being startled by your own pulse. There's a darker thread hidden in this same research, one Blakemore and other neuroscientists have pulled on in later studies. In certain conditions, particularly some forms of schizophrenia, this self-prediction system appears to misfire. Patients sometimes report hearing their own internal thoughts as outside voices, as if a part of their own mind has stopped recognizing itself as theirs. Blakemore later turned her tickling apparatus toward exactly this question, testing whether patients who experienced these symptoms showed weaker self-prediction signals in the brain, and found early evidence that they did. Some researchers have proposed that this same broken prediction loop, the one that normally lets you tell self from other, might be involved in both problems at once. A few documented cases have even reported something almost impossible for the rest of us. Some patients describe being able to tickle themselves, the exact failure mode you'd expect if the boundary between self-generated and other-generated sensation simply stopped functioning correctly. The very mechanism that quietly protects you from your own touch may be the same mechanism in a different person, in a different state, that determines whether a thought feels like yours or like a stranger's voice whispering from somewhere else entirely. Now, bring this back to the world you actually live in. Modern life is engineered almost entirely around exploiting unpredictability, the very same currency your cerebellum is built to neutralize. Jump scares in horror movies rely on a beat of silence followed by a sudden, unanticipated movement, which is exactly why the second viewing of the same film never lands quite as hard. Your brain has already built the prediction. Notification sounds on your phone are intentionally varied and randomized, so your brain can't fully predict when the next one is coming, which is exactly why you keep checking. Slot machines, social media feeds, even the rhythm of a stand-up comedian's punchline, all of it is built on the same evolutionary glitch that makes a stranger's hand on your ribs feel electric, while your own hand feels like nothing at all. Engineers building social robots have run into this same wall from the opposite direction. Several research teams have tried to design robots capable of tickling humans convincingly, only to discover that a robotic arm moving on a fixed, repeatable program reads as flat and mechanical within seconds. The robots that get the strongest laughs are the ones programmed with small, deliberate bursts of randomness, just enough unpredictability layered onto the motion to fool a human nervous system built specifically to detect it. You spend your entire adult life being tickled by uncertainty, just dressed up in different forms, arriving through a screen or a speaker instead of through skin. There's something almost comforting buried in all of this, if you sit with it for a second. The fact that you can't tickle yourself isn't a failure of your body. It's proof that an extraordinarily old, extraordinarily quiet part of your brain is still doing exactly what it evolved to do, every second of every day without you ever asking it to. It distinguishes you from everything that isn't you. It separates the world into things you control and things you don't, sorting millions of small sensations a day into two simple bins, mine and not mine, before you're even aware the sorting happened. And it has been running that calculation since long before you were born, long before tickling had a name, long before anyone thought it was worth studying at all. Somewhere back in deep evolutionary time, an ancestor of yours needed to tell the difference between a leaf brushing against its own arm and a predator's claw doing the same thing, and getting that distinction wrong, even once, could be fatal. You inherited that same circuitry, fine-tuned over millions of years, and it is still running, quietly, underneath every single thing you feel today. So the next time you run your fingers along your own ribs and feel nothing, don't be disappointed. That nothing is the sound of your own nervous system working perfectly, quietly proving 300 milliseconds ahead of the rest of you that it already knows exactly where you end and the rest of the world begins.